Hi guys. I am so sorry that I'm not there today. I know you don't like these videos, but your final is coming up on Thursday. So I really need your focus today. I don't want you to moving seats. I don't want you sitting with your friends. I don't want your phones out. I want you to be seated working on this gold yellow packet the full time. You have to get all the way to page 4 at the very least by today. And that's what I'll be checking off on Tuesday. So yeah, I'll see you Tuesday. So buckle down. I'm going to give you a little review video right after this that you can watch. But in the meantime, email me with questions and try your best, please. Thank you. Good? Okay. So this first question is a normal factoring problem. There's just 1 as a coefficient. There's nothing in front. So your job is just to jump straight to this. Has to multiply to x squared, so you know there's going to be an x here and an x here. And then your job is just to figure out these second 2 magic numbers. So we jump straight here, and it needs to multiply to negative 54. So if you want to take 54 off to the side, that's what it has to multiply to. So I hope you thought, as I did, as the first thing that comes to my mind is 9 times 6, right? 9 times 6 is 54. But it has to multiply to a negative 54. So I got to make one of these negative. How do I figure out which one? Well, it has to add to negative 3. So I was like, okay, negative 9 and positive 6. Negative 9 plus 6. Does that add to negative 3? Yes, it does. Blessed. So negative 9 is your first answer. Positive 6 is your second answer. This is it. You just factored. Congratulations. If you wrote these switched, no problem. All right, second question. 4x squared minus 81. This is also a factoring question. It does have a coefficient, but it's special because there's only 2 terms. There's nothing in the middle. So what you're doing is the same thing. We're going to set this up straight like this. But instead of just having an x and an x like the other one, this needs to multiply to 4x squared. How do you split up 4x? Well, 2x and 2x. All right, now this time it has to multiply to negative 81. So you're going to come over here, and I hope, just like I did, the first thing you thought was 9 times 9, right? 9 times 9 is 81. But again, it has to add to 0 because there's nothing in the middle. So how am I going to get this to multiply to negative 81 and add to 0? We'll just make one of them negative, right? Negative 9 times positive 9 is negative 81. Negative 9 plus 9 is 0, which is exactly what we wanted. So I'm going to put negative 9 here and positive 9 here. There it is. Answer. Done. Factored. Cool? Those are the first 2. Those are basic. I need you to feel really comfortable with these. This is what you're going to need for next year. Finally, your last question. You're going to have definitely a couple of these on the test. These are the more intense factoring problems. Why are they more intense? This guy right here. There's a coefficient. So if you have a coefficient in front of your x squared and you've got 3 terms, you're going to have to use Margot, our BFF. Okay, so I'll write this right here for us. I'm going to walk you through the steps, make sure you know how to do this. This was your warm-up too, so you should already be reviewed. M stands for multiply. You start and you multiply the first and the last. 6 times negative 4, include that negative, is negative 24. So that's what we're multiplying to. Next is A. A stands for adding. You need to add to this middle term right here, so it needs to add to 5. Add to 5. So here's your stipulation over here. You need 2 numbers that multiply to negative 24 and add to 5. So you can start, I'm like, what multiplies to 24? Okay, 6 times 4 was my first thought. Does 6 and 4, is that ever going to add up to 5? Nope, not working. 12 and 2, no, again, not working. What about 8 and 3? Can we get that to 5? H, yeah, we can. Okay, so it needs to be negative 24, so one of these needs to be negative, and it needs to add to 5. So I hope it's obvious that you're going to use a positive 8 and a negative 3. That will satisfy both of these conditions. So these are your magic numbers, yes? Up here, when we're doing regular factoring, you'd use the magic numbers and you're done. But in Margot, finding the magic numbers is just the second step. Well, really now the third step. We use it to rewrite the problem. R stands for rewrite. So here we go. Take the 5. Split it up. We're going to use our first magic number, which is 8. I'm going to write 8x because I'm splitting up 5x, so you got to add the x. My other magic number is negative 3, so negative 3x. Again, if you wrote these in reverse order, that's okay. You'll still get the same answer. Bring down the rest of the stuff. So bring down your 6x squared and bring down your minus 4. All right, that was your rewrite step. Now we're gonna move on. G. G stands for group. So from here, I'm going to group the numbers. When you group the numbers, you just group the first two. Sorry, I should put a plus sign there. And then group the second two. That's it. We love the group step. All right, O. O stands for out. What can we take out of this first little parenthesis guy? So as you notice, 6 and 8, those both fit a 2. So you're gonna take a 2 out. And then we've got an x squared and an x. You can also take out an x. All right, now we do some math. If I took out a 2x, 2x times what gets me back to 3x squared? Or 6x squared, sorry, I'm thinking of the answer, 3x. 2x times 3x is 6x squared. Same thing, 2x times 4 will take me back to 8x. All right, this time, what can we take out of a negative 3x and a negative 4? You can take out a negative 1. You guys with me? We don't like negatives, so definitely take it out front. And then 3 and 4 have nothing else in common besides a 1, so I'm just going to take out a 1. If I take out the negative, I'm left with a positive 3x and a positive 4. All right, good news. And our final step, T. T stands for together. We're going to put this all together. So you check it out. These are matching. They should be matching if you did it correct. So we're going to write the matching one first, 3x plus 4. And then for my second piece, you just use the leftovers. So I'm going to use this 2x, I'm going to use this negative 1. So 2x minus 1. There it is. That is your answer. Now we are officially factored. Cool? That's your factoring review. This was the first 2 pages of your review. You gotta feel comfortable with this. This is the main thing that you need to learn from Math 2 to progress onward. So do not take this lightly. Watch this video again if you need it, and finish those first 2 pages of your review. Onward. Next, take your little green paper and flip it onto the back, please. There are 3, okay, hello, can I count? There are 4 things that you have to review for today. Yeah, let's just jump right in. Okay, the first thing you need to know is about graphing. It says, find where the graph crosses the x-axis. It's literally that easy. Go ahead and sketch an x-axis and a y-axis on your paper, and pretend I gave you some parabola that had a vertex of 2, 3. Over 2, up 3. There's the vertex, so put the vertex there. All right, now let us draw it so that it comes down and it crosses at 4, and it crosses at 0, like this. So that wasn't very curved, sorry, forgive me. But pretend you have some parabola that looks like this. If I ask you to solve it, right, solve the equation, I want to know where this equals 0. So you just tell me the 2 numbers where it crosses. So your first answer is, you guessed it, 0. And the second answer is 4. That's it. It's that easy. We love graphing. The second one, if you're solving equations now we're bringing in the equal signs, is factoring, which is what we just did, hello, but we just have to actually solve it. So let me give you a quick example. X squared minus 3x equals 40. All right, so what's different about this is it just asking you to factor. This time it's asking you to actually solve. There's an equal sign. I want to know what x is. But the issue you run into is normally you'll have an equation like 3x equals 9. Can you solve this? Yeah, you just divide by 3 on both sides, right? So easy. But here, you can't just solve for x because you have an x squared and you have an x, right? You have 2 different x's. So to solve this, you have to factor it. That's the only way. If you're going to factor it, though, it has to equal 0. So start, and let's make this equal 0. Let's minus 40 from both sides. Minus 40, minus 40. So we're going to rewrite this as x squared minus 3x minus 40 equals 0. Sorry, I'm totally writing this from the side. All right. Next, now that it's equal to 0, now you can factor it. So I hope this is as easy for you as it was additionally. We put our x's here. Tell me what multiplies to negative 40 and adds to negative 3. So 8 times 5 is 40, and it has to add to a negative 3. So I'm going to do a negative 8 and a positive 5. You guys good with that? Again, it still equals 0. All right, it is factored. Amazing. But we've already done this. What is it different? What's different about it equaling 0? Well, now you just have to actually solve it. So what minus 8 equals 0? Positive 8, right? Positive 8 minus 8 would give you 0. Same thing here. What plus 5 gives you 0? Negative 5. So these are your two solutions. Just like we found two solutions here, now you have two solutions here. Amazing. All right, onward. Square roots are amazing. Square roots are when you have something like, let's do 2x squared minus 4 equals 124. Yeah, that should work. Let's see what happens here. All right, people, this one is different than this one. Why? What are the differences between this problem that we just did and this new problem that I'm giving you? Well, I'm not here to call on you, so I hope that you're coming up with an answer. And that is that this one had two x's. This one had an x squared and an x, right? So you had to factor. But here, we only have one x. We only have this guy right here. So you can actually just solve it like normal. So we're just trying to get this term by itself. So you're going to start and you're going to add 4 to both sides. 124 plus 4 is 128. And then over here you have a 2x squared. The x squared isn't quite alone yet. You need to get rid of the 2 next. How do you get rid of a 2? You divide by 2 on both sides. So you have an x squared now. 128 divided by 2 is 64. And your final and last step is to square root. So you're going to square root this side and square root this side. So you're left with just x. What is the square root of 64? 8. Yes, that's correct. But again, we always have two answers. So it's positive 8 and negative 8 to solve it. Hopefully you remember that. This is important. I want to make sure you know how to solve something like that. Okay, the very last one of the day is just the quadratic formula. We've done this. We've been practicing this for a while now. So the quadratic formula, Google the YouTube video if you want to watch it, remember it, make sure you have it memorized. Let's just do a practice problem real quick to make sure you remember how to do it. All right, 4x squared, that feels right, minus 5x plus 3 equals 0. You got to make sure it equals 0 before you do the quadratic equation. All right, I know this is tedious, but I don't care. Do it anyway. I want to make sure that you get this correct. I want you to set up what A, B, and C are. All right, A is the number that's always in front of the x, so 4 in this case. B is the number that's in front of the x. Oh, sorry, A was in front of the x squared. B is the number in front of the x, so negative 5, and C is 3. Let's plug it in. Here we go. X equals negative B, but it's already negative. No problem. A negative times a negative would make it a positive. Plus or minus the square root of B squared, make sure you put the B in parentheses, minus 4 times A times C, all over 2A. Cool. All right, let's plug some stuff in. So you can leave the 5 here. That's easy. You can leave the plus or minus. You can leave the square root, but I want to know what this little inside piece right here is. So you can type that straight into your calculator, but you need to make sure that you're using the parentheses correctly, right? So if you type that in, 5 times 5 is 25, minus 4 times 4 times 3 is 48. So you get 25 minus 48, which is negative 23. So you get negative 23. All over 4 times 2 is 8. All right, SOS team, you cannot take the square root of a negative. So what do we do? Have no fear. Leave the 5. The square root of a negative is just going to turn into an imaginary number. So just throw an I out front. Change it to a positive. Put it over 8. Call it good. I'll call that good. You can't go any further than that. So that would be your answer. That's your solution. Okay, this is page 3. Page 3 in your review. So for the next however long you have left of class, I want you to go in hard on page 3. I want these 4 types of problems solved beautifully. And then I want you to do page 4 too. Page 4 just has a few graphs on it. I can do a quick video if you guys need help with graphing. Okay, I'm also going to review these graphs with you real quick. So take out your review packet. This is page 4. So I'm going to teach you a few of these and then you can finish the rest on your own. Again, you guys have already learned this. This is just a review. So I'm just reminding you of stuff hopefully you already know. All right, check out this first problem. 47. Pause the video if you don't have your reviews out yet, but your yellow review should be on page 4. Okay, this is like the typical equation for graphing a parabola. How did I know it was a parabola? Oh, it has that cute squared on it. So you know it's going to be parabola. And it has a negative in front, so it's going to be a face down parabola. Aww, remember this? All right, so we start over here at the -3. If your graph has a -3 on the outside, what that means is it's moving down 3 spaces, right down on your paper. Then when you move to the -1 on the inside, if it has a -1 on the inside, normally negatives move you to the left, but it's on the inside, remember, so it flips. So this actually takes you right 1 space. So we're gonna move down 3 and right 1. Do it. Down 3 and right 1. Bam. There's your vertex. That's like the top of your graph right there. Okay, check out the front. It's negative, and it's just a -1. So I'm just going to go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. And is that enough to make a decent graph? You know it is. Make sure it's a nice looking parabola that gets steeper as it continues. Bam, there you go. Love it. Okay, number 49 is a little bit different. There's no parentheses. It's not in the easy form that we like it. This is in standard form now. So it's been a second, but if you want to find the vertex of a graph that looks like this, you have to use -b over 2a. Remember that cute equation? There it is. All right, -b. b is 6, so I get -6 over 2a. A, if you look in front here, is -1. -6 divided by -2 gives me 3. Yay, 3. 3 is one number, so I know I'm going to be going over 3, but how do you figure out how far up and down you go? How do I get this second number? You plug it in. So take this 3, and we're going to plug it into this x and to this x right here. So negative, and then 3 squared is 9, so -9. 6 times 3 is 18 minus 13. -9 plus 18 minus 13 is -4. So I found it. Over 3, -4, that is my vertex. From here, you still look at the front, at the slope, it's -1, so we're still going to look at -1, and then it looks something like this. Pretend that was better, sorry. So that was fast, but watch it again if you're confused. Just use this -b over 2a, and then plug it in to find the vertex for a problem like these. The last problem is has these lines around it. I hope you remember these are absolute value lines. So instead of being a parabola, this time we're making graphs that are perfect V's, like this, or But the same rules apply as the first problem, which is amazing. You start on the outside, and the outside -1 takes you down 1. This -1 on the inside, again, negatives normally go left, but because it's on the inside, it's going to take you right. So we actually go down 1, right 1. So this is our vertex. Finally, the slope is the number in the very front, and in this case, it's 2. So you're going to go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and then back to the beginning. So this is your first half. And then you can go up 2, left 1, up 2, left 1, and draw the V that way. That is an absolute value graph. Amazing. Okay, please continue. Page 4, page 3, get to work.